Hello guys, I went ahead and made a video for you that's going to just go over the Missouri Compromise. Okay, some of you guys told me you were confused by it, and this is a difficult unit because this is where we start to see everything we were learning about throughout the year come together. Okay, but the first thing, let's go back and let's look at a map of the United States. This is the United States right now. Okay, everything that's touching like this green circle. Okay, I want you guys to forget about Oregon. We don't have that yet. I want you guys to forget about all that land we stole from Mexico. I want you guys to forget about Florida. All that I want you guys focusing on is Louisiana. We purchased this land from France. Okay, so we own this land, and now the problem is, how is it going to become a state? Okay, all this territory, what is going to become of it? Okay, so how does the United States go from looking like this to this? Alright, so the first thing we have to go over is the Northwest Ordinance in 1787. You guys learned about that last year at Miss Benevento. Okay, the main thing I need you to understand from this law, which is taking place in this territory right over here, this law outlines how future territory can become a state. Okay, so they are going to end up arguing we should just follow the laws for the Northwest Territory. That's what the Northwest Ordinance is. Okay, it's just a law that outlines the steps for a territory to become a state. Okay, but the problem going on behind the scene is an unspoken agreement in Congress was to keep the number of slave and free states equal. So here we have a political cartoon. And what I like about this cartoon is you see a scale and it's showing you how Congress is equally represented. So this is how this scale can look to help some of you guys visualize it. They want to have an equal number of slave states and free states. Why? Because Congress, as you guys learned last year at Miss Benevento, and if you guys weren't here last year, if you guys were not in Faust for 6th grade, that is okay. I'm going over it real quick. Congress is where the laws come from for this country. Okay, so they want to make sure there's an equal number of slave states and free states, because if they're equally balanced here, that means the laws that come out of here are going to be equal for the whole country. It won't just benefit slave states and it won't just benefit free states. They want it to be equal. Okay, but let's go over the problem we have with Missouri. On the east side of the Mississippi River, slavery is banned north of the Ohio River. Okay, the problem they have with Missouri, okay, was what to do with it because it's not located in the territory. If we look over here, this will maybe help you guys visualize it, but pretty much the Northwest Ordinance is taking place only in this territory. The law outlines, hey, land that is above the Ohio River and on the east side of the Mississippi River is going to be free states. They can't have slavery over here. Okay, so the argument that they're having with Missouri now is, Missouri is located on this side of the river. It's not located in this territory. So there's no law saying how this territory has to become a state. Okay, so Congress is going to be in deadlock. They're going to be debating this for a while. Okay, Southerners are scared that if Congress is going to say, hey, Missouri can't have slavery, they're afraid Congress is going to go into the other states in the South and say, hey, you can't have slavery here in South Carolina and Georgia. That's what they're scared of. Northern states are scared that slavery is going to spread throughout this whole Louisiana territory, and that's not what they want to see. Okay, remember abolitionists, they want slavery to end. The last thing they want to see is slavery spreading across the whole country, across all this land they just purchased. Okay, what we also see is if Missouri entered as a free state, the South would have no power in Congress, so it's going to really upset this balance. This balance is not going to be even. Okay, and here's some definitions, some terms that you need to know for this unit. Okay, we're going to see union. For now on, the United States is going to be referred to as a union. Okay, one nation, united under a single government. Compromise is when a settlement is created, ending a dispute. Secession is the action of withdrawing from membership, the action of leaving. So it's important that we know that this debate going on with Missouri is going to drag on, and Southerners and Northerners, they're going to be losing their tempers. Okay, so with that being said, you're going to hear Southerners start to speak of leaving the Union. Okay, remember we saw that with Andrew Jackson with the nullification crisis. Okay, South Carolina was upset with the tariff, so they were threatening to leave, and Andrew Jackson sent the army down there. That same argument is going to occur again because these Southerners are so upset with Missouri. And this whole thing's taking so long. They're in a deadlock that they're talking about leaving the Union. Now, I just want you guys to see how stuff that we're learning about back then in the 1800s is still occurring today. So the first thing I want you guys to see is Democrats and Republicans, they were in a deadlock over this coronavirus aid to help people who lost their jobs and businesses that are closed. In Congress, they were actually in a deadlock. Similar to the Missouri Compromise, not in the sense where that there were states wanting to leave the Union, but in the sense that Congress couldn't come to an agreement. And same thing. Around the 1900s, Congress was in a deadlock with giving funds to like railroads. Okay? And honestly, there's deadlocks in Congress all the time. But let's focus back on the Missouri Compromise and how this compromise is created. Okay, the first thing we have to know, Henry Clay, a representative of Kentucky, he's going to be the one who creates the Missouri Compromise. Okay, he's a pretty important character to know. Okay, Henry Clay, I don't know if you guys remember that first election with Andrew Jackson. He was one of the people who was involved in the Krupp bargain. Okay, but other than that, he's a really good guy because he's trying to create all these deals to keep the country together. So he's going to make the Missouri Compromise in 1820. Okay, and part of this deal, Missouri will join the Union as a slave state. Maine is going to enter as a free state. During this time period, Maine was part of Massachusetts. So part of this deal is, hey, Maine, we're going to have you separate from Massachusetts and you're going to become your own state and you guys will be a free state. This is taking care of the balancing problem because you have one slave state joining and then you have one free state joining. Okay, so like I said, this is going to keep the balance between slave and free states even. Okay. The other thing they're going to do is Congress is going to draw an imaginary line across the Louisiana Purchase. Okay? Remember that, guys. It's an imaginary line. No one actually goes throughout the Louisiana Territory drawing a line. Students in the past thought that there was an actual line. Okay? But pretty much south of this line, slavery is going to be permitted. North of this line, slavery is going to be banned, except in Missouri. Okay? The Missouri Compromise is going to keep the Union together. At the time period, very few people actually liked it. Okay, and it's just going to cause more problems. But right now, what I need you to understand when I say what was the Missouri Compromise, you should know A, Henry Clay created it. You should know B, Missouri will join the Union as a slave state. You should know C, Maine would enter as a free state. And then you should know D, Congress is going to draw an imaginary line across the Louisiana Purchase. So what does that look like? I have this diagram that kind of explains it all for you. You see, number one, Missouri is going to enter as a slave state. Maine, separating from Massachusetts, they're going to be a free state. Then you're going to see that Missouri is going to enter as a slave state, Maine as a free state, and this line is what's going to outline who is a free state in the future and who is a slave state. So what that looks like is here. All right, Congress is going to say, boom, Missouri, you're a slave state. Maine, you're going to separate from Massachusetts up here. And then we're going to draw this line. For now on, everything above this line will be free, except for Missouri. Everything below it will be a slave state. So pretty much that is what I need you guys to understand with the Missouri Compromise. If you have a question, please send a private comment asking me whatever question you have. Maybe you need me to go over this in more detail for you, but I will have a video for you tomorrow that is going to be going over the next compromise. Because some of you guys were confused with this and the Compromise of 1850. Okay, we're about to go over, I would say, 3 to 4 compromises in this unit alone. And every single compromise has to deal with slavery. This is the first one I need you guys to understand. Okay, because this is going to kind of cause issues for all the future territories when they go to become a state.